Haircut too. You do.
Yeah.
You look nice. Oh, you guys look cute.
I was trying to replace the weather guy on CH, but I didn't get the job, so I got a haircut.
And of course, these other guys, we can't tell because they shine. We got shiny heads.
Doesn't cost us near as much to look after our head, though.
Required.
Oh, I was just on the website. It shows video. I'm not sure whether that means we're live. Yes.
Hi guys, just an update. We managed to fix the issues. So Jamila's gonna log back on and then we can start with roll call and go from there.
Are you ready for roll call?
Oh, Jamila just has to sign back into the meeting because she was still on the phone with IT. So once she's back in, then we can start.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for your patience. We are all set to begin. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties first thing, but we should be good to go. And I'm just going to switch my settings so it doesn't bog down the system. Okay, Mr.
All
Chairman.
ready to go?
Yeah, did you do roll call already, or do you want to do roll call now
No, we haven't.
Meeting's officially started? Perfect. Okay.
Yep, we'll do roll call. Tom?
Yep. Here.
Bob?
Present.
Mark?
R.
David?
Here.
Mel?
Here.
Laverne is away. Nancy?
I'm here.
Margaret?
Here.
And myself, Dale. Okay, so started note time is 1:28. Is there any members with any conflict on applications today?
No.
I'm going to abstain from hearing an item on Mohawk Road East. It is 21-90500.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Okay, Jamil, I think we're ready for the first application.
Okay, we are all set to hear HMA 21244 for 27 Sycamore Street in Hamilton. We have the owners registered to speak, as well as Councillor Jackson, and no other interested parties.
Okay. Welcome to our meeting. the owner or agent there, did you have a chance to read the comments from planning?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and committee members. This is Muhammad Sayed with you. I'm one of the authorized agents of the owner, and I'm here to speak on his behalf. And yes, we have gone through the city's comments. And as I just want to give you a briefing that previously we did have a variance approved in the month of May for the same property, but that was for non-tandem parking in the rear yard. And the community has requested and would prefer that a tandem parking request be sent to the city. That is why we have a requested variance for non-tandem parking for the basement apartment, and we would like the committee to look into this.
Okay, Counselor, is the counselor there?
I am Chairman Smith. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Chair Smith, members of committee, thank you. First time appearing virtually during this horrendous 17 months of the pandemic. Good to see you all. Thank you for allowing me a few minutes. I'm strongly supportive of the application by the agent, Mr. Mohammed, and the owner, Mr. Bagla. Just to refresh your memories, Chairman Smith, quickly, back on March 4th, this application was there before you. It was tabled. The original request was for tandem parking. And after the 2-month tabling came back to you May 20th, somewhere between a miscommunication between my office, the neighbors, and Mr. Bagla, a revised plan came back, which the committee supported to allow rear yard parking. The community was not happy about that. I called a street meeting. I have spoken directly with the owner, Mr. Bagla, a couple of times, and I'm very grateful. At my request, he's resubmitted, reapplied today. The neighbors would be much more pleased to have the original proposal requesting tandem parking, which is before you today, so they can preserve the green space in the backyard and the front yard. The issue of the 2-unit conversion dwelling, that's come and gone. This is simply about allowing for tandem parking at 27 Sycamore Street, and it has my office's full support. Thank you, Chair Smith.
Okay, thank you, Counselor. Any other questions or comments?
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
And we had a second by Bob.
Yep. All in favor? Opposed, if any?
Seeing none.
No. Motion carried, application approved.
Thank you, Chair Smith and committee members. Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Mohammed. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much for your time, sir.
All right, and I believe we're all set for the next one. So we are hearing HMA 21-245 for 1350 Upper James Street in Hamilton. And we have the agents registered to speak, as well as those acting for the owner. And no interested parties.
Okay, is the agent
Thanks,
available?
Paul.
Yes, I am. It's Sam Esposito, Mr. Chairman and committee. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, you read the comments posted by planning?
We have.
And do you have any questions or concerns?
No, we have no questions or comments offered.
Committee, any questions? Motion?
Move it.
Second.
And so I have a motion to approve by Mel and seconded by Thomas.
All in favor? Opposed, if any? Seeing none? Motion carried, application approved.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, and we are all set for the next one. We are hearing HMA 21206 for 394 East 42nd Street in Hamilton. And we had the agent and owners registered to speak and no interested parties.
Is the agent present?
Yes, I am. My name is Ronald. Thank you very much, committee, for having me today.
Yes, did you have a chance to read the comments from planning?
Yes, I certainly did. I do agree with the comments in the report.
Okay. Committee have any questions or motion?
I just need a little education on street parking, because I noticed in that the Sycamore one, the staff says there are no parking restrictions. Are there not restrictions on overnight parking in Hamilton, in all areas?
Anyone from planning?
There used to be. I just wondered whether at some point all that disappeared.
I think just on thoroughfares, not on side streets, not on my street, for example.
Okay. Just
but
curious.
on like Barton Street or whatever there is.
Yeah, no, but there used to be overnight parking prohibited in virtually all areas between certain hours.
I don't know. That'd be the entire out by Emerald and West Avenue. It's Cumberland. All those places are parking 24/7. It's crammed since I can remember.
Yeah, well, I guess it's disappeared then.
Is there anyone from planning that could comment on that?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to the committee, there is, it's called, it's managed by a different group, but they're what they deem them as through streets. And so there's no parking between 2 a.m. and 7 a.m. on those streets. So a lot of collector roads, but not local roads so much. So, and that wouldn't be posted on the signs. I don't know how many people have been nabbed for that. I have, but yeah.
Okay. Motion to approve.
Okay. Seconder.
Second.
Margaret.
Okay. All in favor? Opposed, if any?
Seeing none.
Seeing none. Motion carried. Application approved.
If I may ask a question, Chairman.
Sure.
Given the fact that this application was submitted prior to the amendment of the current bylaw, which amended the fees that ascribed to the Committee of Adjustment, which was previously $3,320. I was wondering if there could be a potential reduction in those fees for my client.
I don't think, well, we don't have any jurisdiction over the fees. I'm not sure. Jamila can comment.
Yeah, I can comment on that. So the fees were only active on the date that the bylaw was passed, and that was mentioned in the bylaw that there was no retroactive application of the fees.
Okay, so there's nothing that could be done with regards to that?
No, as stated in the bylaw, the fees were from the date of the passing of the zoning bylaw.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, committee.
Okay. So I believe we're all set for the next one. So we are hearing GLA 21210 for 143 Kellogg Avenue in Glenbrook. And we have the agent registered to speak.
Oh, hi. Hi.
Yep.
Good afternoon. I'm Abhay, and I'm speaking on behalf of Ernie Adesi, who is the owner of the property. And they are adding actually a rear porch on the back. And so we asked for variance to increase the maximum permitted lot coverage from 35% to 44%, and encroachment as well, including eaves on the rear side. So we are seeking approval from City of Hamilton for this proposal.
Okay, does the committee have any questions or a motion?
Move it.
Mark, seconder?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Opposed, if any?
Seeing none.
Motion approved. Application carried.
Okay, and I believe we are all set for the next one. So we are hearing GLA 21214 for 95 Donald Bell Drive in Glenbrook. And we have the owner registered to speak. And no interested parties.
Is the owner present?
Yes. Good afternoon. Thank you for hearing us today.
Did you have a chance to read the comments from planning?
Yes, we did. We also read the comments from neighbors.
Okay, do you have any questions?
No, it seemed from what we read that they were okay with it.
Okay, the only question I have to planning, I visited the site. I'm not sure if anyone else visited the site yesterday. And the neighbor next to you, which would be 93, they have a deck that butts right up to the fence, the same as 95. And there seems to only be a problem with the applicant on 95. I'm just wondering, the city has no problem with the deck being right tight against the lot line fence. Different applications we've had in the past, they strongly recommend that there be some space between the lot line and the fence or the deck on the other side. The neighbor at this point in time has no problems, and that's great. I did notice that the applicant, put an extra 5-foot fence or whatever, to screen, so not being able to see down on the neighbor's deck. I just wonder where the comments from planning come from on this one, because the two decks are right tight against the fence, and you can look over the fence quite easily to the neighbor. Any comments from planning?
Sorry, I'm not through the chair to the committee. This is actually in the rural area, but I'm just reviewing the comments, and
I think part of the reason why they have that 1 meter separation is so that there's some privacy between neighbors or whatever. And at this point, the neighbors get along quite well. But when properties sell, then how do you deal with it?
is this an after the fact?
Yes, the deck's already built. It was built without a permit.
Maybe the first guy didn't get a permit either.
And that's quite possible. I'm just wondering about the privacy issue, that's all. The deck looks great, and they did a great job.
That's pretty common on those zero lot lines when they're townhouses like that.
Okay, and I didn't know whether under
Sorry, this is the first time I've looked at this. Yes, townhouses, that's what they do.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I just wondered if under townhouses there's a different ruling or whatever.
Yeah.
Pretty common.
I was there and visited there yesterday too, and it's a good job. So the city's happy with it, the planning's happy with it, so I'll move that it accept it.
Okay, second.
Yep.
Okay. All in favor?
Sorry, who made the motion?
I did.
Okay.
Melvin?
Thank you.
And Nancy seconded it.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Here.
Opposed, if any? Motion carried. Application approved.
Thank you. May I just ask a question? Do we get a copy of the approved application so that we can submit it and finish our permit?
So you'll get a copy of the approved decision. It'll be mailed to you. It'll also be posted on the Thursday after the hearing. So next Thursday, usually between 3 and 4 o'clock, generally.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a good day, everyone.
Okay, and we are all set for the next one. So we are hearing ANA 21215 for 101 Pine Street in Ancaster. And we have the agent registered to speak, as well as the owners, and no interested parties.
Can you hear me?
Is the agent available?
Yes, it's Peter Treen. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me. Okay. Yeah. So I just the proposal was to build an attached garage to the side of a single family dwelling. And our initial concern was with the side yard setback, which is really a rear yard setback. The lot line is on an angle, and so we've requested a side yard setback of 0.6 meters in 2 points. Elsewhere, the setback is wider, widening to 1.05 meters. However, reading the comments, there was concern over this setback, as a minimum of 1 meter is to be designated as like undisturbed. And also there was a concern about the building department identified the minimum dimension for parking to be like 5 meters by 6 meters. So we're requesting a deferral so that we can look a little bit more closely at this and talk to city staff. And we may have to add especially if we're narrowing the garage, we would have to add a variance for a reduced parking spot.
Okay, so you want it tabled?
Yes, please.
And
Yep.
I would also point out that there's the comment from engineering that the swale, that is the distance between the garage and the neighboring property line, is too narrow to allow for proper drainage. That's something else that should be looked at.
Yeah, they said they would add for a minimum of 0.9, I believe, was what engineering spec'd, and then elsewhere in the notes they say a minimum of 1 meter. So we would be looking at maybe widening that setback. It's on an angle, so it's just like 2 spots where it's 0.6, meters. And the owner right now has a weeping tile that he's installed down that whole stretch. So there is drainage already, but anyway, so I think it's best if we table it and we can deal with maybe a reduced space for parking and deal with some of these issues.
Okay, motion to table.
Nancy?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Opposed, if any? Seeing none? Carried. Motion tabled.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the procedure is. I guess we just resubmit, like in terms of contacting city staff, I'm not sure.
Yeah, so you can contact the city staff who provided the comments directly, and then once you've come to a resolution or you've decided you want to proceed with the application, you would submit your amended information the same way you had originally submitted your application. So either physical copies or electronic copies.
Electronic copy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll follow up with the city departments and go from there. I appreciate your help. Thank you so much.
So I believe we are all set for the next one. So we are hearing ANA 21217 for Derbyshire Street in Ancaster. We have the agent registered to speak and no interested parties.
Is the agent available?
Hello? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good afternoon, committee members. And I have gone through all the comments regarding this, and I appreciate everybody's contribution. And definitely we will follow the cautions which is in your recommendations.
Okay, so you had a chance to read the comments?
Yes, sir. I read all the comments and I appreciate everybody's contribution.
Committee have any questions or a motion?
I was out there and looked at it yesterday and I have no problem with it, so I'll move approval.
Yeah, I too. I looked at it and it's not pretty, but anyway.
Sorry, so Thomas, are you seconding?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Here, here.
Opposed, if any? Motion carried. Application approved.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, and we are all set for the next one. So we are hearing HMA 2190 for 500 Mohawk Road East. And I believe Bob has declared conflict for this file and will not be attending. And we have the agent registered to speak as well as the owner and no interested parties for this file.
Is the agent available?
Yes, that's me.
Yes, did you have a chance to read the comments?
I'm sorry, I haven't had a chance, but I have had communication with Samantha Costa regarding this previously. So I believe
The
everything
comments
should be in
all-
order.
Yep, the comments look favorable. Does the committee have any questions?
No.
I have Nancy.
Yeah, I just want to say that I know this was a silly one when it came up the last time regarding a space that was used to be designated for garbage bins or something like that. I guess that's what's been resolved here, that we now know exactly what that space is used for. So with that extra unit, as I said, I did visit that property, so I'm okay with it now that they've sorted that out.
Okay, that's a motion.
Sure.
There is still a comment from transportation about they don't support number 3.
The loading.
The loading.
That's that
But
spot,
that was
that
the
loading
issue
spot.
last time. So
that's the part that should have been resolved in my mind.
Yeah. Anyway, I just want to mention that there was still one.
Well, the staff seemed to be all right with it.
Sarah?
Yes, can I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, what we were proposing to do, we haven't changed anything on the site whatsoever. Nothing at all on site. All we're doing is requesting for one additional little bachelor apartment suite to be constructed inside an existing vacant area inside the dwelling. There are no site. If anything, we will improve the site to make it look better and make it more presentable than it currently is. That's our goal.
Okay. Nancy, did you make a motion?
Well, yeah, I did. Just before we go on further on that, I just want to check with the applicant there. The issue was that loading zone, and you told us, or the agent, somebody told us that it was for garbage cans. So that was one of the things I think was being objected to. It wasn't actually a true loading zone. It was just a placement for your trash pickup. So is that still the same, or have you resolved that part of it?
No, we haven't changed anything on the site. The loading zone was accidentally shown there. There never has been a loading zone on the property in the past, never. So I showed that basically by accident. Anyway, I was told to show the existing conditions on site, which I have. And garbage has always been located in that location. We haven't changed anything whatsoever on the property.
Okay, so it isn't a true loading zone. It is not a true load. Okay. And Sarah, you okay with that?
Yes, through the chair to the committee, it was staff was opposed to providing a new loading space there without any screening or buffering from the street there, and the site does not. It's been functioning this time without a loading space.
Exactly.
So it's just,
Okay.
yeah, it's a continuation.
So push that motion through, please. Or that, I'll make, if we have a seconder, that's fine.
Okay, and Nancy, just to clarify, that is as amended per building.
Correct.
Thank you.
Seconder?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Here.
Opposed, if any?
Seeing none?
Carried. Motion approved.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and the next file, HMA 21203 for 180 Wellington Street, Gold. And the next file we are hearing is HMA 21100 for 10 Longwood Road South in Hamilton. And we have the agent registered to speak and no interested parties.
Yes, is the agent available?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Yes, did you have a chance to read the comments posted?
Yes, I was able to read the comments and I'm fully in agreement. And I'm requesting to approve the application with a provision to submit a grading plan, which could be part of either a building permit application or a separate grading plan for the development engineering.
Does the committee have any questions? I see there's a recommendation from, let's see here, manager of development approvals. They want it to be tabled.
Yeah,
Drainage issue.
Two recommendations, sir.
Committee, questions?
You can make it a condition that they comply with the provisions through engineering for drainage.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the development engineer approvals did provide wording for a condition if the application was approved.
Okay.
So, but, oh, sorry.
For what it's worth, I didn't get the staff comments. I got a note on a sheet saying it's tabled.
I believe that was for 180 Wellington.
I see. Okay.
So we're on 10 Longwood.
I'm sorry. Okay, I missed that. Yes. Okay. And there is, yes, recommendation that this be tabled as well.
Okay. Sorry, Margaret, I think you had a question?
I was just, the applicant, does the applicant want to table it to discuss the need for a grading plan, or would have it approved with a condition to get a grading plan? So I wasn't quite sure from the applicant's point of view what you wanted.
Thank you. I would appreciate if it is approved with a condition to provide a grading plan, and we are intended to produce a grading plan so to make sure the stormwater, which is not a lot, 400 square feet of lot coverage, just like a side of a deck. So it will, the stormwater will be properly managed. It will not go to the neighbor's place. So a grading plan would be a condition if you approve. We will.
With the condition.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve subject to the conditions.
Okay. Seconder? Bob?
And we had Bob.
Yep. All in favor? Opposed, if any?
Being done.
Motion carried. Application approved.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all. Can I get out of the meeting?
Yes.
Yep, your item is done.
Thank you. Have a good day.
So our next, all right, so we are hearing HMB 2145. Oh, you know what? Actually, we're not. We have 2 minutes.
We have 2 minutes. We're back on schedule.
Wonderful.
Okay.
All right. So we are now hearing HMB 2145 and HMA 21207 for 436 King William Street in Hamilton. And we have I've got multiple pages. So we have the agents registered to speak, and we have one interested party, but I believe the agents had requested to speak first.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of committee. Caitlin Gillis here with Tetons Consulting Group. If the member of public is here to speak, we're open to hearing their comments. However, I will say, in reviewing the staff report, thank you, planning, for your support, but we do recognize engineering requested a larger side yard. So for that reason, we're going to request that the application is tabled today to work through that with engineering. And bring it back at another date.
Okay, would
Motion
you
to table?
like to hear the comments from the neighbor first and then take a motion to table?
Yes, please.
Okay, so we will hear from Erica Mason-Merrick.
Hi. Okay, I live at 447 King William Street. And I actually sent in a letter, but I kind of missed the deadline. So I'll read the letter that I wrote. It's in regards to mostly severing the land at the back of the property at King William and the parking issue that it will create. So after reviewing the applications for land severance and minor variance, I have some concerns that I believe are valid in regards to the street and surrounding neighborhoods. While I believe that the current structure as it stands right now is already a duplex, and any improvements to the property will enhance the curb appeal and appearance, I believe that it will also attract tenants that are able to afford a higher level of rent, and those tenants can also afford vehicles as well. And the variance states that it will be a two-family structure, and that could potentially mean 2 cars per family for an additional 4 cars, and that the plans only allow 1 space on the property. I don't believe that this will be sufficient for the area. There is already a duplex across the street, of which the tenants are parking on the street. There's also a building of 6 units on the street, and right now all of those tenants also have vehicles, and that's at 455 King William and 439 King William, as well as 15 Ashley, which is at the corner of King William and Ashley. I believe it's 2 units, and the bottom unit is actually an Airbnb. So that's creating more vehicles for the street. And right now, parking on the street it's a crunch. Unless you get home by a certain time, there is absolutely no parking on the street, and by law, tickets like crazy there. I would propose that if the land was not severed at the back off the alley, that would provide additional parking for any tenants in that new structure being built. And do recognize that while we all have access to a back alley, not all of us have the space or the ability to park on our property off the alley. I would also support a variance that would possibly allow 2 parking spots out front of the new structure to 452 King William. And I was also curious as to the reason why the land had to be severed and added to 16 King William. So that is my concern.
Okay, we appreciate your comments, and we're not going to get into a discussion on this one. The applicant is asking to be tabled for a later date. So I'll entertain a motion to table.
That being said, sorry, can I make just a brief comment? Just Erica, perhaps through committee, I can give my contact information and we can connect. Your concerns are valid. However, I just want to reiterate that the proposal is made by the Pearl Nonprofit Housing, so it will be affordable housing and likely in partnership with Sacagawea Nonprofit Housing. So the proposed parking demand for 1 parking space for the 2 units we believe is valid and won't add to the parking issues in the area. However, respecting everybody's time, we're happy to connect and discuss the project and the overall vision, and why the lands are proposed to be severed.
Okay, I appreciate that, and I appreciate that it's a affordable housing unit.
Thank you.
Motion to table.
Motion to table. Yeah, Mark. Seconder.
I have Nancy.
Nancy. All in favor of table? Opposed, if any? Motion carried. Application approved for tabling.
Thank you, everybody.
Right, and we are all set for the next one. So we are hearing HMA 21205 for 232 Charlton Avenue West in Hamilton. And we have the agent and owner registered to speak and no interested parties.
Is the agent available?
Good afternoon. Yep, I'm here. This is Christine Brown, and I'm the agent on behalf of Anne Kalanji, who is also here in case you have any questions for her.
Okay, you read the comments posted?
Yep, sure did. Everything to me looks good.
Okay, committee?
Motion.
Questions, motion?
I have,
Motion for
Mark?
approval.
Yes. Seconder?
I'll second it.
Margaret, is your hand up or not? I can't tell, sorry. No?
No.
Okay. Okay, so
Not
sorry,
yet.
that was,
I was just getting ready to.
okay. All right, so
of
that was
the
motion to
previous.
approve by Mark and seconded by Mel.
Yeah.
Okay.
All in favor?
You're here.
Now it's up.
Opposed, if any?
Seeing none.
Motion carried. Application approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we are all set for the next item. We are hearing HMA 21208 for 397 Beach Boulevard in Hamilton. And we have the owners registered to speak and no interested parties.
Yes, is the owner available?
Yes, that's me.
Yes, did you have a chance to read the comments posted?
I did, yes, thank you.
Do you have any questions?
No, I thought it was a good outcome of the request.
Committee have any questions or motion?
Move that.
Mark, seconder?
Motion to approve, and I think I saw David.
David? All in favor? Opposed, if any?
Seeing none?
Motion carried, application approved.
Could I just make a quick comment?
Sure.
Just thank you to you guys. I don't know if you get to hear it often, but this project is a dream for my family. My wife and I are going to grow old in this house. Our kids are going to enjoy it, and this has been 3 years to get to this point. So, thank you very much. I'm very excited. That was all I wanted to say. So enjoy your afternoon.
We try and make everybody happy.
Yeah, it seems that way. Thank you.
Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we don't succeed.
Okay. Doesn't always work that way, does it?
But it's always nice to hear good compliments.
Oh, very nice.
Okay.
All right, we're all set for the next item. So we are hearing HMA 21209 for 22 Chatham Street in Hamilton. We have the agent and owners registered to speak, as well as, I believe, the owner's family member too.
Okay, is the agent available?
Yes, I'm here, Chris Harrison.
Yes, just to read the comments posted.
Yes, we have.
Are you thinking about tabling, or what are your wishes here?
Well, we'd be interested to hear what the committee says. Tabling to revise the proposal, I suppose, is what you're suggesting?
Yes, by reading the comments and the variances, there's 4 out of the 6 that the city planning are not supportive of. So I just wondered if, before we get into any discussion, if you wanted to table and try and talk with planning on those issues to get more favorable comments.
Well, I haven't discussed this with my clients, the owners. Mike, Kasha, do you have thoughts on this?
I'd like to avoid tabling. I'd like to see what what the committee's thoughts are going through these variances, and the reason being is I don't think, looking at variance 1. Staff are of the opinion that the variance doesn't maintain the general intent because of the projection of the canopy. The canopy extends the same distance as the existing porch. The plan is to remove the porch roof and replace it with that canopy. The porch roof is substantially bigger in size, takes up more area than the canopy does. So I'm not quite understanding why this was not supported.
If I could interject for 1 sec, Dale, if you don't mind. If
Yes,
we're going
go
to
ahead,
hear
Mark.
the whole thing and answer all the questions and listen to all your proposals, then there'll be a motion made to approve or deny. And if the inclination of the committee is to deny, then it's over and your only option is to appeal. So we don't do pre-trials where we do a whole application, then you table it and do it again. So you have to make a decision at this point.
Okay. I think we should make a decision to table it then, just to get our ducks in a row here and make sure we get some better have a discussion planning there.
I'm fine with that as well. We did approach planning before submitting the variance application, and it's a bit disappointing that a lot of the objections were not raised at that time. I know that's not going to change the outcome of today. I'm fine with tabling as well. It is the lesser risk option. And yeah, can we ask when it would be tabled for?
So it would be up to you to speak with planning and provide any information that they might require. And then when you're ready to submit your amended drawings, or if you just want it to be put back on an agenda with no changes made to the application, then you would contact us the same way that you had before, and we would assign you a hearing date based off of when the next available hearing date was.
So it's like a new application then? You just get back in the queue?
Yeah, if you're going to amend the application, yes.
So we're looking at 6 to 8 weeks minimum then. If just going by new applications, that seems to be the lead time.
Yeah, I think we're currently accepting for August 26th.
Okay, Mike, Kasha, are you still okay with tabling?
Yeah.
I'm wondering just when is the best time for conversation? Then tabling will give us that, or appealing will give us time to converse, because I think some things were perhaps misunderstood with our application.
I think
So
if you
that's
sit
a
down,
legal opinion. I can't give you a legal opinion.
okay, so motion to table,
Motion to table.
seconder,
And Mel?
all in favor of table? Opposed? Motion carried, application tabled.
Okay,
Thank you.
see you in a few
See you in a
months.
bit. Yep.
Thanks, Mark, for the comments.
Yeah, I was about to
Move
say
the
I
ball.
apologize if I overstepped, but I don't like doing
Nope.
pre-trials.
No, I appreciate the committee making that call rather than me, the chairman.
Perfect, thank you.
I tried to allude to that, but
Committee have to make the motions, right?
yeah.
All right, I believe we're all set for the next item. So we are hearing HMB 2147 for 361 Beach Boulevard in Hamilton. We have the agent registered to speak, as well as the owner and 2 interested parties.
Okay, is the agent available?
Yes, I am.
Yes. You had a chance to read the comments posted?
I have, yes.
Okay, there are some, I guess, neighbors or citizens that would like to speak. Would you like to hear from them first, or do you have
Yeah,
any
sure.
comments?
I'd like to hear. I didn't actually see their comments, so yes, I'd like to hear from them first.
Okay.
Okay, so we can hear from Scott Howley first.
Scott, are you there?
So if you're on, Scott, I don't see your name listed and I don't hear you.
Can you hear me now? I'm listed as owner.
Yep.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Oh, great.
Yes.
Okay, well, we did send some comments in, but they weren't allowed. I guess they weren't sent in on time. We voted on this as a whole as our community council, and we're strongly against any small lots being added to the beach. 40-foot lots are part of our minimum for our neighborhood plan. There are other areas where higher density and medium density are allowed, and that's put out in our neighborhood plan. So we get this quite often where people want to come in and put a small lot beside, put a house on it. And we're far against it for anywhere along the beach where it's not allowed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and then we will hear from Joel Hughes next.
Joel, are you there?
So I don't see Joel Hughes registered either, and if you're muted, we can't hear you.
Question to the agent on this one. Are you looking to table? Is the recommendation?
That is a possibility. Definitely. Are we waiting for any other comments or?
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, I don't see any, I don't see Joel Hughes listed and I don't hear him and I don't have any unidentified people, other people, sorry.
Okay. So back to you, back to the agent. Yeah, the recommendations from planning is to table. But what are your feelings? Do you want to hear this or do you want to table?
I think I'm going to want to hear this. I know my client is, on the verge of selling the property that he's currently in and building his house on the other property. So I think he wants to make a decision fairly quickly. And rather than tabling and coming back to committee. Now, this was registered as 2 lots, I think prior to 1950, is what we gathered, the information. So they were actually two pins at one point that were merged together. I understand, on Beach Boulevard, they want bigger lots, but that's as lots are, as people tear down houses, people are joining lots. But originally, I believe there were a lot more smaller lots in this area.
Committee, questions?
Yeah, my comment would be if it's an inadvertent merger, then we've always been inclined to put back the way it is. So if it was actually two separate lots on two separate deeds, two separate lots of record, albeit maybe legally established non-conforming, I look on the map and I see a lot of small lots anyways. So if this was always one lot and you were chopping it, that's one thing. But if it was two separate lots, then there is some merit, in my considered opinion, to do so.
Is there any proof on that it was merged, any dates or time for that happening?
Yeah.
I'd have to dig back in my records, but I believe I have something from land registry, which I could actually send over. We do have a copy of the original survey. I just don't have it on hand at the moment.
You know,
I think I'd like to see that before we vote on this.
if we're relying on that information, I think the suggestion would be to table it and to get that resolved and actually be able to prove that they were two separate lots.
Okay, I could pull that over to you later today for sure. Send that over with any other comments that you may have.
Well, what's the feeling?
This maybe be put on another agenda quicker without going through the whole process like the last one, like maybe the next one.
Yeah, if that's possible, that would be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, so in situations where it's not changing the whole application or getting different comments from the municipal departments like the last one, this is just to have a piece of paper he doesn't have in his hand. So if it could be added to the beginning or the end of the last one, that would make some logical sense in this particular case.
I agree with Mark on
If
that.
that's
If we get
possible.
that information, then we can make that be a simple conclusion to our decision.
Jamil is the boss on this one.
Okay, I can provide a comment. I think Margaret is asking to speak. I don't know, Margaret, if you want me to answer this question first or if you want to speak first.
Answer that question first. And then,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So through you, Mr. Chairman, we can add it to the beginning or the end of the next item. So that would be, sorry. So that would be the July 22nd. We will add it to the beginning of the July 22nd. This will be considered the notice. So it will be heard at 1:10, I believe. I don't believe we have any other items other than that. So we will hear it at 1:10 on July 22nd.
Okay.
Okay.
Margaret?
I do have a comment. I just want to mention that there's very little in the way of planning comment because they consider this to be premature. So we didn't even get the usual detailed planning comments on whether it conforms or not. It seems to me that there are bigger questions than just whether this was inadvertently merged.
Well, now they have 2 weeks to get answers to us. So there you go.
I just want to mention that, that's not the only question up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's understood. But
So,
I look at it completely differently personally if it's unmerging something that had merged or creating something fresh. So that's sort of the starting point, but you still have to consider the other considerations, of course.
Well, I think there's
planning can add to it.
another issue here may be that the whole area has changed since we had those thin, narrow lots in the first instance, and that recreating something that's now out of date would not be a great idea. That's why I think we need more detail as to whether, what's going in there and is it going to conform.
For sure, we should ask for that, but this is the beachfront, so I'm kind of curious how much has changed around there anyways, if not bigger, but it's pretty old school there.
Well,
but anyways, that's why we would want the comments from the municipal departments, of course.
So just so the committee is aware, if we do table it just for the next hearing, we won't be able to get new comments from staff. This will only be so that the applicant can provide the information that the committee has specifically requested.
Oh, no, I want comments from planning staff.
I would think that would make, so we, yeah, I think we would want the comments from planning staff by then as well, because if we can't make, that's the only way we're going to be able to, regardless of,
Well, Mr. Connor, when you get your documentation showing, you might want to send that in and see if they're amenable to getting some comments based on the fact that that was the case.
Perfect. I'll do that then. Yeah.
Okay. Motion to table.
Okay, so just to be clear, when a motion is made, is the motion to table it for the July 22nd hearing, or is it to be tabled later? Just could you clarify when you make your motion?
Well, we can make it for July 22nd, but the applicant has to be aware that if he doesn't get his act together vis-a-vis planning to have information for us, he stands a risk of not getting it. So,
or tabled again.
Yeah, or tabled again, exactly.
Okay, so Mark is making the motion. And sorry, was there a seconder? Did I miss that, Dale? Sorry.
Nope, you didn't.
Okay,
Seconder?
sorry. I have Thomas.
All in favor of table? Opposed?
Sorry, Bob and David, are you opposed or were you just?
No, I'm in favor of deferral.
Okay.
I'm in favor.
In favor of deferral. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Motion carried. Application tabled.
Okay, so the application is tabled to July 22nd at 1:10 p.m. So to the interested party, you can submit another request for the to be heard at that hearing, and then you can present your comments at that hearing again.
What is that date?
July 22nd.
Okay.
At 1:10. Okay, so I believe we are all set for the next item. So we are hearing HMA 21211 for 207 Mount Albion Road in Hamilton. And we have the agent registered to speak as well as the owner and no interested parties.
Is the agent available?
Good afternoon again, Mr. Chair. Yes, I'm available.
Yes. Did you have a chance to read the comments that are posted?
Yes, I've read the comments which were posted and we'll comply.
You have any questions?
No questions, sir.
Committee, questions, motion?
Building division has recommended some changes with respect to the carport. What are we doing with that?
All right, so the request for the carport is an existing carport and the setback to the existing property line is 0.6 meters, whereas the zoning bylaw requires it to be 1.2 meters. So our request to the carport is being it enclosed, we request a variance to be granted for 0.6 meters.
So you're asking for a new variance?
Yes. So that is the requested variance. So we are asking for two variances. One is for reduction of parking space for 2-car parking, which are non-tandem. And the second variance is for the reduction of the setback to the side lot line from 1.2 meters to 0.6 meters.
Okay.
Committee? Any other questions?
Well, staff is supporting everything there, and I'll move to approve.
And sorry, Margaret, did you have a question?
No, I was just going to move it, so I'll second it as amended with the second variance.
Okay, all in favor?
Here, here.
Opposed, if any? Seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
Thank you very much.
All right, and we do have a break currently scheduled, and we are relatively on time. So our next item will be heard at 2:45.
Okay, 10 minutes.
my mic was working. Okay, so do we have all the committee members back?
I don't see Thomas.
Yeah,
Oh.
yep. I think his camera's
There he
just
is.
up, and then I think Nancy's just out of frame. And then Mark, I believe your camera's just off. So if you're there, just let us know.
Mark, are you there?
Nope, so I don't hear Mark, and I don't hear Nancy either. Did you want to wait, Mr. Chair, or did you want to proceed?
Yeah, I think because of the nature of this next one, it'd be good to have legal and
Real estate.
available.
All right, we'll wait a couple minutes. Oh, okay. Nancy has had to leave the meeting, so she won't be available for the rest of the meeting. She had an emergency she had to deal with.
Ready?
And Mark is
you're
back.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so we are hearing HMB 2142 for 58 Tom Street and 130 Dundurn Street North. We have the agent registered to speak, as well as the owners and 2 interested parties. And I did want to just provide some clarity for the committee members. So I believe one of the sketches that was attached to the comments package might have been a little bit unclear, but there was only one application for severance that was applied for. So it was just for the 58 Tom Street. It wasn't for 56 Tom Street. So I believe the sketch referenced of severance 1 and severance 2.
Okay. Is the agent available?
Yes, I am. Jeff Buseman here.
Yes. Did you read the comments that were posted?
Yes, I did.
And there was quite a few letters in support and one letter possibly not in support. The committee have any questions at this point, or does the agent have any questions?
I'd like to address the application a little bit, if I might, Mr. Chair.
Sure.
So I'm assuming the committee and the public watching are familiar. Fundamentally, this is an older property in Hamilton, very urban area. Our client, Thomas Cassidy, owns a semi-detached. Beside him is a house where, well, it's a building where the main floor has been a convenience store for decades. And the owners are at a stage in life that they'd like to move on and sell the property eventually. There's a garage at the north end of this property that Thomas would like to purchase, or that chunk of land with the garage. So it's a lot line adjustment severance. We have dialogued with staff, I'd say half a year ago already, on looking at the possibilities and what we need to get there to get it done. I was a little surprised with the list of conditions that have been presented, and I'm going to say that I can address this condition specifically, but I'm going to say that we would ask a number of the conditions to be removed, because if they're not removed, this severance will not proceed. The conditions are too onerous. Fundamentally, the one big issue is that right now there's a convenience store at the corner. It's legal non-conforming. It's been there since, at least we have records to show it's been there since 1911. And there's a suggestion to say that this lot line adjustment severance will disturb that legal non-conforming use. I would argue that that's not the case. The store operates on its own and its own building. This is an auxiliary or ancillary building at the rear of the property. And just because the property's just become a little smaller, I would argue that this is the continuation of a legal non-conforming use remains. The suggestion on the condition is that if that's not the case, we have a condition here for a zone change to reestablish the store. Well, that's not going to happen. The zone change is just far too onerous to make that happen. So we ask that the condition related to a zone change be removed.
Can you?
The other aspect is spatial separation. Mr. Chair, should I keep going on this or?
Can you just number the conditions that you want to have taken out, just so that we can follow along?
Absolutely. On page 1, number 4, for spatial separation analysis to the building code. Number 5, zoning bylaw amendment on page 1.
Yes.
Number 6, I'm going to say yes. It's asking for an evaluation of all the zoning and the setbacks and so forth of the existing properties. I'd say that's not applicable because we're in a legal non-conforming use. So I'd say that one be removed. Number 7, I can understand that's a request for an easement for maintenance purposes because the garage encroaches on the next house over. And we're finding that the person on the next house over is not too willing to enter into an easement agreement. If she's not willing to enter into it, then it'll kill the severance as well. Number 8 is similar on page 2. Then I go to page 4, and bear with me here. It's somewhat repetitive on page 5. The one condition number 1 has that be removed. Number 2, number 4, number 5. So I'm asking for a lot of the conditions to be removed.
I'm wondering if it might be better, rather than asking a citizen committee to basically eliminate every condition as found to be appropriate to the staff, that if perhaps the staff can meet again with the applicants to see if some of these things could be varied or whatever. Because in the 30 plus years I've been on this committee, almost as long as the variety store has been there, I've never seen every condition removed by the committee, where if it's possible to have some of them adjusted or maybe deferred or removed, then we might be in a better place. So whether we can't do it and turn it down, it might be, and then, or we say we're going to approve it and apply all the conditions, then you're not going to proceed. It might be better to take another kick at the can before it sort of dies on the table today, regardless of how it's decided, for or against, for with conditions or against. Does that make sense to you, Jeff?
Yes, I think that's a good solution. I'm all in favor of that. I'm eager to work with city staff to come with some solutions.
Yeah. Okay, so motion for tabling.
Okay. Seconder? Bob? All in favor of table? Opposed, if any? Seeing none, motion carried. Application tabled.
Thank you, committee.
And for the interest of the interested parties who had registered, a new notice will be circulated and when the new hearing date is set, and you will be notified. And sorry, for the interest of the committee members, and I believe, so HMA 2268 for 684 Beach Boulevard was tabled. I believe that was mentioned in the comments package, but just in case, just wanted to let you know.
Okay.
All right, so we are all set for HMA 2138 for 20 Reed Avenue North in Hamilton. We have the agents registered to speak, and we have one interested party as well.
Okay, is the agent available?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. My name is Spencer McKay. I'm here on behalf of Roxborough Park Inc.
Yes, did you have a chance to read the comments posted?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I did have a chance to read the staff report. We are happy with the staff report. With the exception of variance 7, we have had some discussions with planning staff regarding that condition. I believe Shannon McKee's on the line to respond. However, Shannon, if you'd like me to just throw out that added condition, staff is requesting that a condition be added that enhanced visual barriers are to be provided on the landscape plan to the satisfaction of the manager of planning. And that's in regard to condition 7 for the transformers.
Okay. There is a member of the public that wants to speak or has questions.
Yep, so we can hear from Elaine Taylor at this time.
Yeah, because well, I've put in an email to the variances, and it's just a combination of unsafe changes, especially with them not providing enough parking spaces. They're going from 2, the bylaw says 4, and they want 2 for each unit. And I sent him pictures with my email of the area. There was a promise that this consortium was going to blend in with the residential area. And those pictures also show the apartment buildings that they're building. And that's going to add to the traffic issues. And where are all these extra cars going to park on the street with them getting a variance for the bylaw to not provide enough parking for those units? It was to be 4, and they're saying now it's only 2. There's also a safety issue with the size of the roadway that they're going to make in that condominium complex. That bylaw was for emergency vehicles. And because they're going to be 2 level, it's going to be an aerial ladder fire truck that has to try and maneuver in that place. So even 2 meters makes a big difference for one of those emergency vehicles. And the other issues too is just so they get enough space in that small area so they can fit that 164 units in that area. But then they're also adding to the environment of this area with 3 apartment buildings that are under construction now. So is this consortium going to be responsible for the traffic after everything's done, and the parking mess and issues with safety in this area after everything's all done, and the amount of traffic that's going to be involved? Because even the parking variance with the minimum entranceway to that roadway at Main and Reed, there's a stop sign there now, but the amount of vehicles coming into and out of that complex and the throughway is also going to be a safety concern. So I don't see how planning has come to this area and checked this area out presently and see the roadway that exists now and what their variances are wanting to do to this area. I know I only have 5 minutes, but I did put all my comments in an email. And what's your answers for not supplying that required parking amount?
Through the chair, did you want me to respond to those comments?
Yes, please.
Through the chair, thanks, Elaine, for the comments. Just regarding some of them, regarding safety, the fire truck routes are designed to OBC standards, along with the dwellings. So in terms of safety, we are meeting all the safety requirements in terms of fire truck radii, garbage truck turning maneuverability. All of this has been vetted through the site plan process. With regards to the reduction in parking spaces, we're not asking for a reduction in the amount of parking spaces that are being provided on site. It's the amount of accessible parking spaces. So we do meet the requirements of the bylaw for the amount of parking spaces that are on site. We're just asking for, if instead of 2 of the parking spaces being accessible parking spaces, if they could be more usable visitor parking spaces. In terms of traffic issues, this is part of a plan of subdivision that has already been vetted through transportation planning staff regarding on-street parking. We've submitted the necessary traffic impact studies, all of which have been approved by transportation planning. In regards to enough space for the 164 units, all the variances that we're requesting today are representative of minor pinch points to an already approved bylaw. Density is not an issue here. We're well below this subdivision is evaluated on density as a whole, and this is the first stage of the development. Keeping in mind, just to bring it to the committee's attention, these are affordable units. We're part of a community improvement program for the area that are making these affordable, and these are for first-time home buyers. Investors cannot purchase these units. There's a threshold in terms of prices that have been set for these houses, making them affordable for first-time home buyers. And if the committee has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I got another question, because your sign said, it used to say between the 300,000 and 400,000 mark for those houses. So now you're saying, are they going to be all geared to income? Because that sign was taken down on the property.
Through the chair, they're not geared towards income. It's geared towards the definition of affordability. What that number is, I don't have offhand. I'm not the owner of said property, and nor am I involved in the direct sales of or the marketability of the project. I know it has to meet certain guidelines that are in the CIP, and from my knowledge, we have met all of those guidelines in the CIP that have deemed them to be affordable, and there's a number of criterias in the CIP. Again, but that's not one of the issues that we're here discussing today.
Because this variances were only issued to people that were 60 meters away from this property, but it's going to affect the whole area from Hayes and Main and on the other side of it. And right now there isn't a lot of street parking. Like it's filled up now, and then they're going to add what they say more vehicles to this area. It's just going to be a mess in 5 years, the street parking, because, well, it is all no parking zones on one side of the street, and Reed Street is both no parking. And that's a busy street as it is right now. Never mind adding the 164 units plus those 3 apartment buildings. When you're saying you're just going to add accessible spaces, what does that translate to be? Are you going to put parking spaces in there, or you're just making it the responsibility of the people who buy there to park on the street if they don't have a parking spot?
Through the chair, if Elaine, the site plan that's posted clearly illustrates that we will be maintaining parking off street. We're meeting the targets that are required in the zoning bylaw. Again, in terms of on-street parking, we've submitted our on-street parking plans to the municipality. They've been approved. We've done the TIS that the city has requested. That has been approved. And again, we do have conditional approval on this site plan for the 164 units, subject to these variances, which is one of the conditions. If staff remembers, this application was tabled some months ago in order so we could work through the finer details, engineering, landscaping, and things of that nature. And we're at the finish line here for this project, this exciting project, and this is kind of the last bow, if you will, on this project.
It's an exciting project for the company, but not for the neighborhood, who's going to have to deal with the parking issues after this is all built. Because I'm looking at the plan, and it doesn't show any extra parking spaces inside this area. So That question is, where are they all going to go? Because like 164 units times 2 vehicles, that's a lot of vehicles. Never mind the 3 apartment buildings that you're also associated with that are being actually built right now. So
Mr. Chairman, we do have a question from a committee member.
Yes.
Sorry, Margaret,
Yes,
go ahead.
I was just wanting to confirm, and maybe this will help the neighbor, that there is parking provided for each unit. Is that correct?
Yes.
To the applicant?
Through the chair, there is 2 parking spaces provided for each unit, one in the driveway and one in the garage. In addition to that, there's 34 visitor spaces that are included off-site, which would are the 34 visitor spaces that are shown on the site plan.
Okay. Thank you. I was pretty sure that you were providing parking. So maybe Ms. Taylor just did not realize that there is already 2 parking spots per unit.
But the bylaw says they had to supply 4. And where are these off-site parking spots that he just mentioned on this map? Because I'm looking at the map. So what are they considering 36 visitor parking spaces? That's my question.
So can you see what Spencer's showing? He's showing
I got
the
it.
area.
I got it.
Okay.
So where
Does the committee?
Okay.
Does the committee have any other questions here?
I have Thomas. Sorry, Thomas, you're just muted. Sorry, Thomas, you're muted. You'll just have to unmute yourself. Am I muted?
Nope, it's
No?
Thomas.
Okay.
You can't hear him.
Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to check.
Because the other issue is the...
There it is.
Okay. There you go.
Okay.
Now, as I understand it, the only reduction in parking is that the bylaw requires 4 handicap spots, and you want to reduce it to 2 handicap spots. Otherwise, each unit has 2 parking spaces for each unit. Is that the parking situation?
Through the chair, that is correct. We are providing all of the requirements in terms of the required visitor parking spaces. We're just asking to have a reduction of the barrier-free spaces and in order to allow for 2 extra usable spaces to the general people that buy in this condominium.
Now, you said something about off-site parking. What is that?
Through the chair, the definition of off-site parking in the bylaw it's very confusing as or off-street parking, I should say. Off-street parking is parking that's contained within the condominium, and then there's on-street parking. My apologies.
So all of your parking is off-street parking?
Correct.
But still on the site.
Correct.
On the site, yes.
Okay. And then, so you're saying those parking spaces were supposed to be for handicap, not just per unit?
Correct. We're providing over 2 spaces per unit, which is over and above what the bylaw requires through the chair.
And and the other question was the number 7 with the transformer. You're going to change that because the way they speed up and down Reed Avenue, I could see somebody hitting it if you don't put a barrier in front of it.
Through the chair, and again, if Shannon wants to speak to this, we did speak with planning staff today. They've asked to add a condition for the approval of variance 7 that enhanced visual barriers are to be provided on the landscape plan to the satisfaction of the manager of planning. Shannon, I don't mean to overstep, but if you want to confirm that.
Good afternoon
What
to
is
the
that
chair.
actually?
Yes, we understand that the transformers have to be located as shown on the site plan to facilitate the site, but we are looking for some enhanced visual barriers. Now that could be provided in the form of vegetation, so some kind of planting or an actual barrier. So that'll be determined through a revised landscape plan to the satisfaction of the manager of development planning, urban and design.
Because it looks like from this map that Main Street's going to run right through to Hayes. where there's already like an existing gravel road, but
Through the
that
chair,
area-
the existing Main Street will not run through Hayes. The councillor did not want that. If you look at the plan, there's no vehicular access from Reed Avenue directly through Main there.
so that's not an exit?
That is the only exit on Reed Avenue is to the south of Main Street, not at Main Street.
Okay, does
So
the
there's
committee
only
have
gonna,
any other,
okay.
back to the committee, do the committee have any other questions on this application?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move it with that amendment to item 7, condition added.
Okay, so not, okay. So a move to approve with the added condition.
And I'll second it.
All in favor? Opposed, if any?
Seeing none?
No, I'm opposed it.
Motion carried, application approved.
Thank you, members of the committee and Mr. Chairman. Everyone have a good day.
What'd you cut yourself? What happened?
All right, we are all set for the next one. For the information of the committee members and the public, HMB 2146 for 276 Dunsmuir was tabled. So we are now hearing HMA 21212 for 276 Dunsmuir Road. So this was the minor variance application. And we have the agent registered to speak. We have the owner as well as one interested party.
Yes.
Morning, committee, or good afternoon, committee.
Did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
Yeah, and actually, just for the committee's information, there's just a little bit of a housekeeping item to deal with just at the beginning. Thanks, Jamila. Yeah, we're going to table the severance application. However, with regards to the condition that staff added, we've gone back and forth with staff a little bit on it, and we just want to reword it slightly. And I'll provide the wording to the committee in a second. Just bear with me. So the condition to be added at the request of staff is that the variances 7 and 8 only be applied to the shown portrait deck of block 1 and the southern portion of block 3, subject to the satisfaction of the manager of development planning, heritage, and design. And we would be in agreement with that condition as written.
The condition as amended.
Correct.
In other words, you're asking this to be tabled to get things straightened out?
Sorry, Mr. Chair, or committee member through the chairman. No, there had been some back and forth between staff and the applicant with regards to the condition that was originally proposed. Am I muted? No, oh, okay, sorry. And the condition that was originally proposed, and so I believe they have come back again, so after what I had received earlier, and so that was the amended version that Mr. Ferrari had read to us.
And through your chair, I understand we have a resident in attendance. I'd be happy to hear their concerns first for making my submissions to the committee. But just for now, I just like to note that I've read the staff comments, understand them, and I'm in agreement with their position.
Okay. The citizen is available.
Okay, so we will now hear from Lori White.
Hello. I just want to come on and first of all, thank you guys for looking at putting something on that site. It's been an eyesore for a number of years. And I personally am all about progress. I just am a little concerned with a lot of the variances actually that are pushing the limits in a small community that is very well established. I mean, my home itself is 115 years old. Most people don't have parking. And if we do get a parking space, we're allowed one because we have to keep the green space. So I'm just, a lot of the variants are, I feel, are pushing everything to make larger. Our area already deals with anything that goes on at Iverwin Stadium. We deal with snow removal that doesn't get done right, so people don't have a place to park. The alleys where a lot of people have garages, they can't use it in the winter. We already don't have parking spaces on our street. And I have lived in complexes, and I know that if you only give one spot per person, which per unit, which it sounds like is happening, I think there was 4 extra, that they're going to be parking their second vehicle on the street, and that all their visitors will be on the street on an already very congested parking on our streets.
No.
They want to go 4 stories, not 3. The transformer is going to even be out on the street with 0 street line, like 0 meters. The balconies, from the picture, I could tell that was Dunsmuir. I just don't know why all the variances have to push to put in, I don't think, something that fits in the area that's very well established.
Okay, Laurie, thank you for your comments.
Through you, Chair, may I respond?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, so thanks, Laurie, for coming out and expressing your concern. So for the committee's information, we've been going through the site plan process on this site for approximately 2 years now. Staff have vetted the application. And in fact, to the neighbors' concerns regarding parking, staff also expressed that concern at the outset as well. And what they did is, what they made us do is submit a parking study for the site, okay? That parking study was completed by Paradigm Transportation Solutions. It was submitted to transportation staff for approval, and it's now been approved. What that parking study identified was that the actual parking rate for the site that it would generate was approximately 0.6 spaces per unit, roughly equating to about 42 parking spaces. So we're providing above and beyond that, even though we need a variance. One of the other reasons I think it's really important for the committee to consider for the parking reduction is the location of the site in relation to the city, okay? We are in between Main Street, which has existing transit, King Street, which also has existing transit, and a future LRT. We're also near a Sobe bike station. I myself bike through here to Gage Park all the time, and I go on my bike and it's not a problem. The other thing is there's communauto cars. So there's car share in this area. So there's various ways in which to kind of curb that demand for on-site parking. Like we said, the variance we're asking for 64 parking spaces, and we're providing for 60 units. So at one space per unit, given the supportive study and the transit and additional amenities in this area, we don't believe parking is an issue. And further, it's been vetted and approved by staff through a site plan application. The resident did make note about height. I just want to confirm to the committee, the reason why we need the variance for 4 stories, we're not proposing 4-story buildings here. The reason why it's 4 stories is because the basement unit, which is partially out of the ground, counts as 1 full story. So in effect, these are 3.5-story townhouse units. The bylaw does have a story and a height requirement. The height requirement is 11 meters. We're coming in above 10.5 meters. So we're within the height in terms of the meter measurement, but we're not within height in terms of the story measurement. However, based on my explanation that I just mentioned, really these are 3.5-story towns, and the elevations submitted show you exactly how tall they are. At this point, committee, I think those are my submissions, and I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any at this time.
Okay, does the committee have any questions? Motion?
Sorry, David, are you making a motion or are you just fixing your camera? Okay. Thanks.
I'll make a motion for approval.
Okay, and
I
is that,
second.
sorry, Margaret, is that a motion for approval with the amended condition?
Yes.
Okay.
I second that.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed, if any?
Seeing none?
Motion carried, application approved.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Okay, and we are all set for the next one. I'm not sure, Mr. Chair, if you want to hear the next two items together, or would you like to hear them separately? They are the same agent, but they are different owners, but there's related applications.
I think separately.
So we will hear HMB 2148 for 181 Bell Avenue in Hamilton. And we have the agent registered to speak and no interested parties.
Is the agent available?
Yeah, Steve Fraser from AJ Clark, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, did you have a chance to read the comments on the first one?
Yes, I did, Mr. Chairman. No issues whatsoever.
Okay, committee, questions, motion?
I have David.
Yeah, move it, please.
Oh, okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Here, here.
Opposed, if any? Seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
And sorry, Mr. Chairman, who did you have seconding that? I had two at the same time, so I just
Bob.
wasn't sure who you got. Bob? Okay. All right, and then we are all set to hear HMB 2149 for 185 Bell Avenue in Hamilton. And again, we have the agent registered to speak.
Okay, again, did you have a chance to read the comments posted on this one?
Yes, I did, Mr. Chairman. Same thing. Absolutely no issues whatsoever. Happy to answer any questions.
Is that a motion from David?
Yep.
Okay.
And I have
Mel
Mel
seconded.
seconding.
All in favor?
Here, here.
Opposed, if any?
Seeing none.
Motion carried, application approved.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, and we are all set for the next one. We are hearing HMA 21213 for 46 Geese Street and East in Hamilton. And we have the owners registered to speak and no interested parties.
Yes, is the owner available?
Yeah,
Yes.
good afternoon.
Hi.
Yes, did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
We did, and I think it's important to note that my neighbor, like 42 Guys, was granted the exact same relief that we're seeking, 2017, to build a detached garage. The variance here.
Okay. Development engineering had some comments, negative comments.
Yes.
Committee, questions?
How do you plan to get around this issue of drainage?
Well, if you allow us to share our screen, we could show you a picture of the property so you can better understand how it's being used. Is that possible?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, go ahead.
Here. Share. Oh, sorry. Share. And then we click this. Is it working?
Oh, go. Yeah, go and share.
I did. Share. There you go. Do you want to show this? Sorry. Group
So
effort.
if you see where the white car is, that's where the relief was already granted. They have the 0.45 setback with no swales and no mitigating drainage at all. They don't even have gutters.
Maybe another one here as well. We're over here.
We're at the blue car. The ground is a permeable surface, so it would absorb water, and We intend to use a gutter system to mitigate any roof runoff. So there's really no issue with flooding. There wouldn't be any additional rainwater after our construction than there would be right now. So I don't really understand what the engineering concern was. And like I said, our neighbor was granted the same relief that we're seeking and couldn't understand why we wouldn't receive the same.
And we'll be adding fresh gravel as well to the area.
Are you doing a flat roof too?
It's a slanted roof.
Slanted.
So it's a slanted roof, like it's a carport with a slanted roof to one side, and then we'll have a gutter running that one side to direct any roof runoff away from our neighbors and our own property.
Well, where's the runoff going?
It's going to run off towards wherever I guess there's a storm here, so it's going to go to the street and down to the storm.
Oh, down
the same as
what
the same as what a swale would. Sorry.
It's going
to go as what a swale would do.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a storm drain just to the side here, which I think is the intention of having a swale in the first place.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Do you want to stop sharing the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Hang
I
in
want
there.
the umbrellas back.
Okay, wait. Did we stop? Are you still seeing our screen? Okay, just a sec. Sorry. Very sorry.
Any other questions from the committee?
Okay, we're good.
Yep.
I bring a motion for approval.
I'll second it.
Second by Tom. All in favor? Opposed, if any?
Seeing none?
Motion carried, application approved.
Okay, and we are all set for the next one. So we are hearing HMB 2155 for 33 Ashley Street in Hamilton. And just for the committee members, this is a validation. This is not a typical consent. And we have the agent registered to speak and no interested parties.
Is the agent available?
Through the chair, good afternoon. Katie McGurk from Scarfone Hawkins LLP here on behalf of the applicants.
Yes, did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
Yes, I did. We have no issues with the comments.
Okay, committee, questions, motion? David, motion?
Move it. Move it, please.
Second it.
By Mark. All in favor? Opposed, if any?
Seeing none?
Seeing none. Motion carried, application approved.
Thank you all. Have a great afternoon.
Okay, Katie, is this a title insurance cleanup or an actual client?
I don't
Just
have
out of
instructions to
curiosity.
answer that.
Hey, I send my stuff to you guys to clear up my things, the same thing.
Good to know.
Just curious. Okay.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great afternoon.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Just for the benefit of the committee, Scarfone Hawkins has taken over all of the title reparations, inadvertent severances, problems that go through title insurance. They're contracted by them to do all the fixing up, so they're really good at it. So if you have a mini title problem, they're pretty skilled at it nowadays. They're the fixer-uppers.
Fixer-uppers that you make mistakes on, is it, Mark?
Sometimes. No, not necessarily. You sell a house you've had for 30, 40, 50 years, whatever, and then you find out that there's some type of inadvertent merger or encroachment or mismanagement of the measurements, and they fix it up. Sometimes through court orders.
Doctors bury their mistakes, lawyers hire Scarfone Brown.
That's right. And we used to get you to sign some of the orders to fix them, if I recall.
Okay, Jamil, on to the next.
Okay. So we are now hearing FLB 2143, FLB 2144, and FLA 21204 for 198 Victoria Street in Flamborough. We have the agents registered to speak, as well as several interested parties.
Okay, is the agent available?
Good afternoon, Chair, members of committee. I'm Mike Crow with IBI Group, so I'm here.
Yes, did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
I did, sir, and I would just like to start that we're prepared to table the applications if committee will permit it. We read the comments, we're mostly satisfied. I think there's some good comments in there from planning staff and cultural heritage, but our concerns are with the road widening dedications. I think we haven't quite squared that away, so we'd like some time to go back and talk to staff and sort that out before we come back to committee with perhaps updated sketches. So we would request or be satisfied with the tabling if committee would permit it, and certainly here to answer any questions on that if need be.
Motion for tabling?
Sorry, just before we do that motion, Mr. Chairman, I did get amended comments from transportation planning, and they did provide amended conditions for the road widenings and daylight triangles. I'm not sure if
I did not see those. Yes. Sorry, through you, Chair, I did not see those. So one thing I was going to say before is that there was a difference between the development engineering and transportation comments, which we were a little confused by. So I'm not sure if that's what these comments pertain to. I'd be interested in hearing those at least before we go further, if that's possible.
Yes, so let me just grab them. Sorry, I thought you were CC'd on that.
No problem at all.
Okay, so development engineering approval deferred all conditions to transportation planning, and transportation planning has stated that without setting a precedent, they will request a condition of
not good.
4.
Just fucking.
So, sorry, I'll just repeat that. So transportation planning are setting a requirement for the daylighting triangle without setting precedent to be 4.57 meters by 4.57 meters with, and no right-of-way dedications are required.
No right-of-way dedications whatsoever?
That is correct, yes.
Well, that would be, if I may, through the chair, that would be preferential to us. We thought the requests were quite large. I think that's the right approach to take. The impact of the property of a 15 by 15 daylight triangle was enormous, and I think out of character for this context. And we also agree that a same would apply to both of the frontages on Parkside and Victoria. If there's some discussion on the heritage context of this property and the neighborhood, there's really no potential for redevelopment. So in our view, there should be no dedications, but we would be prepared to give up that small daylight triangle. So with that being said, I would renege my tabling request, because that's exactly the kind of approach we wanted to work out with staff that would exactly hit our preference. It would certainly match up with our variance application, and I think is the right approach. So I'd be prepared to continue with the application today and seek a decision from the committee if that's still possible.
There is a request for tabling with respect to a tree plan, isn't there?
Through the chair, yes, there is, but they also note that staff have incorporated that as a condition of approval, which would be our request as well. If you obviously see our submission package, we don't have any house plans available at this point. The owner is not a developer. They're just looking to really sell these potential lots off. So, but we would be prepared to do that tree management plan as a condition of approval and work with staff on that. I think that's the right mechanism to do that as well. We'd have plenty of time to prepare one and sort that through, and we've done that many times in the past with staff, so we obviously understand what they require. And I think that would be the conditional approach is the right approach as well.
Okay, we have a number of citizens that I think want to be heard. So maybe we should start there.
Okay, so we will hear from Matt Dalrymple first.
Matt, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Your questions?
Yeah, I live across the street from the lot, so in looking at it, there have been any sort of like engineering studies done, like if they're going to.
I'm having trouble hearing him.
Yes, so am I. If you can speak a little louder or closer to your mic.
Is that any better?
A little better, but a little louder would be even that much better.
Sure. Okay. I was curious if there have been, I don't know if anyone has done any sort of engineering studies for, putting a house across the street so close to the corner there. There are a lot of trees on that lot. I'm just trying to understand if there's any sort of what kind of impact it would be, considering how narrow the lot is.
Is that your only question here right now?
Yeah, for now, yes.
Okay. And I think the applicant can just keep track of these questions and maybe we'll answer them all together at the end.
Okay, so we will now hear from Brian Paul.
Good afternoon, committee members. Thanks for the opportunity to speak with you today. We are the neighbors located along the southernmost property line of the subject property, and we are opposed to severing the lot into 3 lots. The lot is currently 2,940 meters square, so 3 lots of 980 meters square is feasible, considering the minimum is 975. However, due to the retention of the Vance house, the historical home on the property and its position on the lot, both new lots have to go well below the 975 meters square minimum. One as low as, I believe, 718 meters square. If allowed, the Vance house rear wall would effectively be about 14 feet from Lot 3's new house, and the garage will be about 8 feet from Lot 1's new house. We don't believe these reduced setbacks respect the area at all. This is a front and center corner in the old core of Waterdown, allowing in essence a clear cut of lot. The trees on the lot and cramming in future homes will leave an irreparable scar. We don't believe this is compatible to the area. It does not respect the area, and it certainly does not enhance the area. Furthermore, I just wanted to make sure that it was noted that cultural heritage and natural heritage require a tree protection program, so that be in place before any of this is approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the next person we had registered was Anya Sonnenberg, but I do not see her on the call. So Anya, if you are here, please make yourself known. So I do not see her, and I do not see any unidentified persons.
Okay. Is there anyone else?
I know, so that was the last interested party.
Okay. So there was a couple of questions there for the agent. I know we had talked about that you agreed to a tree protection plan. Was there something else to comment to?
Through you, Chair, I think that would answer the first speaker's question or comment with respect to the trees and the study. We would accept that condition as part of the provisional consent approval and work through that. Obviously can't determine right now what that would show exactly. We'd have to go and do the work, right? But the intent of those obviously is to save as many trees as possible, and we can do that with the footprints that we're showing. So I'm confident with that. To the second speaker, I don't think there's really a question for me, but just some comments on the character and compatibility. And we've looked quite extensively at this site. We've submitted a very thorough planning justification analysis, and that definitely lines up with the staff comments from planning and cultural heritage with respect to the size and shapes of the lot. We were very sensitive to the heritage context. We know that at the moment the city is undergoing their secondary plan study for this area, and there's a cultural heritage, build heritage evaluation inventory. So we were very sensitive to the heritage context of this site, and we actually proposed our lot shapes and sizes specifically to match up with that context. That's why we have the wider lot on Parkside and the narrower lot on Victoria. I think that those really do match up with the lot sizes and shapes in the area. And so we were very pleased to see those comments from planning staff and cultural heritage, which essentially agree with our position. It's not overly dense. The lot sizes are still quite large, and certainly fit with this context quite well. So I'm not sure we could provide much more than what's already been said in our statements and what I'm saying to you here now, but happy to discuss those components further if committee feels necessary. But we're definitely quite satisfied that our approach definitely hits the compatibility nature and fits this context perfectly.
Yes.
I have a question from Thomas.
Just to clarify, I'd be interested in knowing what the lot sizes are of the three. Well, the main lot with the main house on it, it is what it is. But the two other lots that will be the building lots, what are the dimensions of those?
So through you, Chair, the southerly lot on Victoria would be in the range of just over 900 square meters. I'm just looking to pull up my drawings as we're talking. And the frontage is just over 15 meters. And then on the Parkside lot,
we're old.
What?
How many feet?
Well, then I need to open up my conversion calculator here. Hold on a sec. Just bear with me. I will do all this properly.
But everyone advertises 40-foot lots, 50-foot lots. You never see ads for meters. So
right. So a 15-foot lot is just about 15-meter lot is 49 feet. So it's basically a 50-foot lot.
50-footer. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. So that's on the Victoria side, and we keyed that lot width to match. There's a similar width lot on the opposite side of Victoria, just almost directly opposite on the west side. There's a frontage there for an existing lot on Victoria, 15 meters as well. And so on Parkside, we have a lot width that's 22 meters, and I'll give you that, which is 72-foot lot, so it's quite wide. And that matches the context you'd see along Parkside on the south side. So if you were to go to the east along Parkside, there's just a continuing row of 4 or 5 more houses that have the exact same lot width. So we're exactly matching that lot width along Parkside, which is in that context already. And then we have a slightly reduced depth because we've given more of the area to the Victoria Street lot, but we still get up to over 700 square meters. So most of that depth you would never see from the street, and still allows for a nice regular shaped building footprint that can meet all other zoning requirements, right? So that was really our approach. Yeah.
What is that depth?
Okay, just bear with me. I closed my drawings by accident, so I just want to open them back up.
It was the other one was 34 meters.
Yeah. I could probably share my screen too, if that would suit committee.
I like the picture of Mr. Paul's trees in the background there.
Maybe we can continue with questions while I fumble my way through this. I just wasn't prepared to share my screen.
Those are some of the trees in question.
So we had a question from Mel.
Yes, I was up and visit the lot there yesterday, and I know I talked to the young fella in the house that lives there. It's a rented house out, so the owner does not live there. And I kind of agree with the tenant, the owner of 47 Wellington Street there, that with all the trees there, I can't see them having 3 lots on that property and save any of the trees, to be honest with you. And I'm not prepared to look at this place with a 3-lot severance, so just not big enough. In the main house in 193 or 98, the garage would be right on the line of the new lot there along Victoria Street. So there'd have to be some variances there with that, or the garage would have to come down. So I'm not prepared to pass it with 3 severances there, 3 lots there.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Mel.
I'm not prepared to pass it with 3 lots there. It looks more like 2 would be a better situation there in that property. So
if I may, through the chair, I understand the comment. Then I just like to deal with that in phases. So the garage, we have applied for variances to allow that garage to stay, but the owner would prefer it not stay. We were just trying to accommodate that. We thought it was would be easier to do that instead of construct a new garage, but his preference is to tear it down. So I'm not so worried about the garage. We could still come back with an approach that would show that to be removed or a new garage to be constructed. But if there's concern with the 3 lots and impacts on trees, then I'm really all over the place here, but I would rather table the application and give us the chance to work with staff on that than have it turned down today, because I think that we could provide that information to committee that the impacts would be minimal, right? So if we're down to discussing how those 3 lots might fit in with the existing trees on the property and the adjacent properties, then we'll do the work and we'll come back to committee with that information. I'd rather do that than have it turned down, because I think we're so close to having a good approach here. We have planning staff support, so I don't really want to see it thrown away just for the ability for us to go away and do more work and come back, right? So if that's the direction we're going, then I would respectfully request that we could keep that tabling option open. It's just subject to us completing some type of study, and we'll come back to committee with that. I think that's the better way.
I personally would prefer that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Thomas?
Motion to table.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of table? Opposed, if any? Seeing none, motion is carried, application is tabled.
Okay.
Thank you for your time. Yeah.
And just to clarify, so that was tabled for FLB 2143, FLB 2144, and FLA 21204.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks again. I appreciate the discussion. That was great. Have a good afternoon.
Okay, and we are all set for the next one. So we are hearing FLA 21201 for 10 McDonald Court in Flamborough. We have the agent and the owner registered to speak.
Yes, is the agent available?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon, committee.
Good afternoon. Did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
Yes, I did.
And do you have any questions?
No, they're basically just supporting what the proposal is, so I'm good as long as you guys are okay with it still.
Committee have any questions or a motion?
Move it.
Second. Or Bob did.
All in favor? Opposed, if any?
None.
Motion's carried, application approved.
Thank you.
Okay, and we are hearing DNA 21202 for 11 Hunter Street West in Dundas. And we have the agent registered to speak, as well as the owner, and no interested parties.
Is the agent available?
I am. Hello again.
Yes. Did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
I sure did.
Do you have any questions?
I do not. Everything looks good to me.
Committee? Seconder?
Here.
Mark? All in favor? Opposed, if any? Motion carried, application approved.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, and we are hearing FLB 2054 for 54 Dundas Street East in Flamborough. We have the agent registered to speak and no interested parties.
Yes, is the agent available?
Good afternoon, members committee. Spencer McKay here again on behalf of the owner.
Yes. Did you read the comments that were posted?
We did, and we are respectfully requesting the application be tabled in order for us to get the NEC permit.
Okay.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, I believe Spencer originally had spoken with me earlier and he was requesting it to be tabled to the next hearing. He believes that he is able to accomplish that within 2 weeks. Is that correct, Spencer? That hasn't changed?
Through the chair, that is correct.
Okay.
Okay. Motion to
So
table,
moved.
Melvin?
Motion to table.
Okay.
We'll take Mark
That
as a
was
seconder.
Mel and Mark.
All in favor to table? Opposed, if any? Motion carried, application tabled.
Okay, and so just for the committee's clarification and the agent, so the item is tabled until 1:05 on July 22nd. So no further notice will be submitted.
Excellent, thank you. And Jamila, through the chair, I'll reach out to you if we find out that NEC is kind of lagging behind.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Okay. Thank you. That's the end of the meeting. Is there any
That's
other
it.
business anyone wants to bring up? Seeing
Not
none.
really, but
I
we
got to
got a
get back to
table
work, so
today.
we'll see you guys.
Yeah, Mark.
Okay. Sorry, Mel, did you have something? I
just said we tabled a lot today. We got about 7 or 8 tables.
Yes,
Yeah.
there was a lot tabled.
Yeah.
Well, I'll come back.
Yep.
See you back in 2 weeks.